Beatport podcast.
Since buying an MPC at age 16, Sante has toured the world, set up his label Avotre, written over a dozen film scores, and firmly rooted his name in house music. I'm your host Tigerlight, and I'm happy to introduce Sante, who we were lucky enough to get to join us for a chat in Beatport's Berlin headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. What are you doing in Berlin? Why are you here right now?
I'm preparing my album launch, which will be released on Friday, the 24th of May.
That's very, very exciting. And that's Current 2.
Yes, the second one.
The second one, so it is the sequel to the album that came out in 2014.
I just wanted to do another album because albums are a little bit more special than single releases and EPs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can change a little bit the sound and try different experiments with different things.
You had a lot of collaborations on the 2014 album, and there's collaborations on this one as well.
Yeah, but those are
not as many.
Exactly, not as many. Less singers as well. Most of the people are really close friends who worked with me there.
That's cool.
Yeah, back to the roots somehow.
So they persuaded you, like,
yeah,
through friendship. Go in the studio.
I actually asked them, so.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And where did you record the vocals for that?
The vocals for Emotional Closure have been recorded in Australia, in Melbourne, on tour. Yeah, that was last year. There is not so much vocals left yet. The other one is from Boston, and that's basically it with vocals. So I didn't want to make it that vocalish like the current one, like the first one.
Yeah, because that's really vocal heavy.
Yes, exactly.
What made you step away from that sound?
It's like I said earlier, album phases are experimenting, and back then I was writing a lot of other music for other people as well, and I sometimes feel like I like this part more, working with collaborations, have more musicians in the studio, and this time I focus more on myself due to the move to Portugal, and so I've focused really on less collaborations, and all those collaborations, like I said, have been friends who visited me or I visit them. So.
And what was the reason for you moving to Portugal?
Basically, just going surfing every day.
Did you know people there?
Yes, one of my really close friends. When I moved to Berlin 15 years ago, he moved to Portugal and opened up a surf camp there, and I visited him ever since. But I could never imagine living there, so it was like so far away from me and had nothing to do with my world. And now as an established traveling, touring artist, you're looking a little bit for something else. You're not like in this city rush anymore like that hard when you have like every weekend some major cities all over the world. So you want those 4 days as cozy and calm as possible. Or this is exactly my mood right now. So that was the reason.
So when you moved over, did you go over with family, with a partner?
Yeah, with my wife.
And she surfs too?
Yeah, she introduced me to surfing because I was like born in South Germany and I was not that much at the ocean. And I was more kind of a mountain guy. So snowboarding was my thing. But nowadays, I haven't been snowboarding since 15 years.
Do you think the snowboarding, being able to stand up on the board,
yeah, exactly. So
obviously...
I was always skating and still skate a lot. So skating and snowboarding helps for the balance for sure. You got the board control.
And you were able pretty quickly to stand up and keep standing up.
Yeah, exactly. But the progress is you have to live on the ocean to get like really major progress.
Yeah.
So.
And how are you now? What's your level?
I can't really judge myself. So sometimes I take bigger waves than I should somehow. I think this is this mainly kind of elbow thing. You have to go sometimes bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah,
well,
you're dying.
You die.
Yeah, you drown like hardcore.
Okay, all right. That was a bit of a stupid comment. I'll take that back. It's true, yeah. Sharks, and I guess, do you hit yourself on the head with the surfboard?
Yeah, this is basically the most injuries which happen. You get the board in the head and you knock out and then you drown.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like if they're too heavy.
They're too big, right? Yeah. I love skiing and I'm always off-pisting, and I think I tried surfing once and I could not stand up. It's very frustrating.
It is, and it still is. But it's also exciting because it keeps you very calm. You don't have any internet access, no phones.
Yeah.
Just you, your friends, and the water. So.
Yeah. And you can't think about anything else, right?
Exactly. You're just focusing on the moment, like holding your breath, duck diving or like catching the next wave. So it's super meditating kind of.
Do you meditate?
No, I wanted to start, but now, like I said, since I moved there, I don't have to because it really changed my mood completely. So you're not that stressed, you're not hustling that much anymore. You're like really living more in the now, like aware. You have been like more aware, completely aware. This is really a nice situation I'm in right now.
And your studio, is it next to the ocean in your house?
No, not
or?
yet, but hopefully in future. So most of the stuff is still stored somewhere all over the world, but I need to bring like now it was like this the second year now. So the first one was like more to see if it really works out. And now I think I will definitely stay there for a little bit longer. So I move everything over there.
Okay, so this is like the long term, you think you'll come back to Germany?
There was in the past, but now I don't think I'm coming back. Oh. But never say never, you never know.
How do your parents feel about that?
Actually, it's not that much difference living here or like in Berlin the last 15 years or in Lisbon. So it's actually somehow it's closer from them going to the airplane and fly to Lisbon than going 6.5 hours by car to Berlin or 7.
Where are you from originally?
Ulm. It's a small town close to Stuttgart.
When you were 21, you came to Berlin. Did you come here to study or what's
I wanted to. I never did. No. I wanted to after I finished school and 1 year of social work. I came here and I wanted to study audio engineering because there was like only 2 universities back then where you can do it like without having private money to go for, like no audio education schools like nowadays. So but I missed it. I was invited for the kind of pre-playing test. You have to play like 2 instruments really, really well. And I failed big time because I didn't practice that much. I thought it would be much easier.
Which school was that?
It was UDK.
The University of Art.
Yeah.
It's the UDK in Berlin. You play instruments, obviously.
Yeah.
Which ones do you play?
Guitar. I was quite good then. But I had like an injury a couple of years ago in Brazil on tour, where a glass broke while I was playing in my hand and cut me all through the tendons and everything. You might see the scar. It was like that long. So I blacked out while the gig and everything, and then I woke up and it was this worst hospital you could ever imagine. And, it was quite a story. So they didn't fix it in Brazil, so I had to fly back. And after it was like the 4th day after the accident happened, so the finger looked already like really not that nice anymore. And through the pressure of the airplane, it was like kind of a journey. So this is the reason why I can't play guitar that well anymore, because I lost a lot of feelings there. So I switched to piano.
Well, there you go. This is the thing.
Yeah.
Piano is always in tune if it's electric.
And and it's like easier to play. I didn't have to play like big symphonies or whatever, but to compose it's also nicer.
Yeah.
You compose different on the piano than on the guitar.
In what way for you?
Like you come up with different turnarounds somehow. I don't know. Maybe it's just muscle memory, which leads to different songs.
And do you have lessons?
Basically, none of that. I never had lessons. Everything I learned by myself. Yeah, which is
very cool.
So sometimes you could be like a little bit quicker and maybe faster, but always the things I wanted I learned by myself. I didn't like school that much, to be honest. So I tried to educate myself.
So when you came here and then you didn't get into the UDK, what did you do then when you sang your training? So did you have friends that had studios? Like, how did you learn to produce?
No, I was like here and I was looking like for an internship somehow in studios, and I went from door to door to door. And I remember it really well. So it was like the 5th studio I visited, and they let me in. They said, "Hey, how you doing? Sit down. What do you want to look? What are you looking for?" And I was like, "I would love to be an intern." I said, "Okay, what are you doing right now?" I was like, "Nothing." "Yeah, stay here, watch it." I stayed. Production went really long. It was 3 a.m. in the morning when they finished. I was quite super quiet, sitting in the corner, watching everything. Sometimes they asked for coffee, sometimes they asked for food. I went out, got some food and stuff. But basically only watching. Then the owner said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I said, "Nothing." "Yeah, be here by 9. Okay, I was there by 9. Same thing. It was Friday, so basically, everyone thinks Friday, going out. Another really long production, like till 4 a.m. Saturday morning or so. It was like a commercial, like for a movie. But it was super interesting. I was like, yeah. And then he said, okay, cool. Seemed to be nice. So be here on Monday at 9 a.m. or so. I was there and I never left. 5 years later, I was still with them.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was basically my study. There was a big studio. They have 4 now, but now they're relocated to Markt.
Are you still in touch with them?
Really slightly, sometimes. If I see them, hey, hello, and so, but not like that close anymore. Yeah, but I met in the studio a lot of people and got in touch with a lot of other artists and also like the former producer from TV Show Arts I introduced, and then we got basically everything started from this studio.
That fateful day of you going and collecting sandwiches.
Exactly, like putting so much effort in and just being there.
Do you feel like you learnt a lot from watching other people? Did you learn the most doing that, or did you learn the most actually getting thrown into situations, having to make productions or make music?
Second one. Yeah, because I was quite okay in terms of recording and stuff, but if they force you to, you have to learn it like immediately and jump on. And I never used a PC back then. I always was a Macintosh. I had to fix PCs and I had to do the wiring. And I never did it before. But then you have to get rid of it. And it changed, or it shaped a lot of my perspective how to get things done. It was not always nice, to be honest, sitting there and fixing and finish something which you never ever touched before.
No.
Yeah, so, but it helped me being who I am right now.
And constructing your studio, when you have technical errors, do you feel like you can easily fix them on your own?
Yeah, easily.
So it's given you a lot of independence.
Yeah.
Would you recommend that to any young producers listening, that they should go and get some internships, or what do you think?
If they can right now, because the music industry changed so much, because there are not so many big studios left, music became so less valuable, like not many record companies pay for like those big studios anymore. You can make a record on your laptop in your bedroom, so and it can be a huge song, so worldwide success. So I think obviously, yes, it would be nice to get everyone like this opportunity, but I think opportunities became super less. On the other hand, we have now schools like SAE, Point Blank, or whatever there's so many good audio, or even YouTube. You can just put any tutorial you want to see on YouTube, and it's basically the same. You have just to push yourself to watch those tutorials.
those barriers have come down between people that could afford to either do internships in the first place, because that involves having some funding from somewhere, or a night job or a day job or whatever.
Exactly. First of all, I think it's nice to be able to make a song, like a really great song, even maybe nowadays on your iPhone already. So it's like really, really cool to have the opportunity, because it's all about the creativity. And now it's going to be narrowed down more to the creativity person who sings and performs it, and it's not that difficult to write a song anymore. So then other things went up, like performing. And the only thing I don't like is like that social media became like such a huge influence on the creativity, on the music in general. So that's positive, but on the other hand, exactly, it's also negative that the accessibility of making music is so easy nowadays, because you don't have to know anything and you can make a record out of the blue. Don't even play any instrument or know it, nothing. So it's like, I'm not judging it. I just think it's a completely different world and different approach. I was just watching on the plane back here, like a documentary about John Lennon, and I was like, wow, that's cool how they made records. Because there have been like 5-7 guys, one in the studio together, and played those songs like all over and over and over again. And this is why maybe all those old records feel so special, because there was a connection and the energy was like transmitted through the present and moment when they recorded it. And this is why I think some of those classic songs sound so magic, because there have been not machines reproducing everything. It's just humans, and this makes the music so special. The little mistakes which you don't hear, but they make the big speech. And there are some producers nowadays, they're still doing like this. For example, Mark Ronson is one, and he's really doing like everything on tape and going back to like playing the drums through all the songs and not copy pasting it and making a little bit. And in terms of dance music, this is when you start working like with modular systems, machines, going away from all those sequences, which are always super tight, and bring like those little arrows back in. Then you get like the same kind of magic happening when you make electronic music, more machine-based.
What about for you in your process? I mean, right now you said you don't have your studio set up, so does that mean you're working inside your DAW rather than with machines? Or
no, I'm going to different places and different studios, but I will definitely get my stuff over again, and I will move away from the DAW, because it's just more fun.
What is your stuff?
Well, I got a lot. Okay, what do I have? So much. But my favorite two pieces are definitely, I have the 303 is still with me always because it's small. The 909 is not traveling that much because it's an old machine. But I have the new one, the TR, the small one, which is really close to the original. And this is I could travel with them everywhere. I could just have them in the pocket. And then I got so many old synthesizers. The Juno is my favorite synth. Like, I got a Moog, Voyager, so yeah, I collected a lot of stuff, but I got once a Rapt here in Berlin. They broke into the studio, so I lost also quite a lot. So,
wow,
yeah.
That must have been
It was hurtful.
You go in to make music the next morning, and then
yeah, exactly.
Wow, and was it insured?
Back then, unfortunately, not, because I was like just sub-renting as a room in a studio, which have been broken in. So it was.
I can imagine.
It was a little bit of a dark time.
Yeah. Thank goodness that you're in a position now to have replaced a lot of it.
I didn't replace all of those stuff. Basically, not a single one which I got lost. I never replaced them.
Felt emotionally attached to them.
Yeah, because there have been like some of those pieces, like for example, there was like the MPC 2000, which was my first ever kind of musical instrument sampler I ever bought. I didn't buy it back, so because it had so much. I know when I was working in a supermarket, to get it like the whole summer to get this tool. So yeah, there was a lot of emotion attached to this machine. So and I couldn't buy it just by being able to buy it. So
did you then after that stay in that studio, or did you move?
Yeah, I stayed.
Okay.
I had to.
Did you do like any rituals in there to cleanse the space?
I did a lot of Palo Santo. Yeah. It was weird the first couple of months, but then it was okay again. So we fixed everything, and Yeah, and it never happened again. So
I always wonder about the people that break into studios and that do they actually understand what they're doing, or do they just not care at all?
I guess they don't care. It's just an easy way to make money, quick.
album, which you're now doing all the promotion for, are you having to do a big press circus at the moment? Have you got a lot of interviews?
Yeah, this is like basically every day interviews, writing, phoners, a lot of typing, which I don't like that much, to be honest. Yeah, but it's a great thing. So you want to get as much people involved because an album is so different and people write different about it, like having an EP out or so. Yeah, it's a great thing, great opportunity to have other people listening to your stuff.
When you were saying before your relationship with social media is a bit 50-50, have you been part of the promotional campaign, or do you have someone that does that for you?
I have a lot of people doing something for me, but you always have to be part of it. Otherwise, then you have to trust everyone like that 100% that they write exactly what you have in mind, and I think this is not possible. No, not really.
So have you collected your team over the years and you've been working with the same people for a long time? Or?
Yeah, no, I work with a lot of people for mostly like the last 7 to 10 years.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And did you know them in like real life before the music industry, or how did you find them?
The most time I worked with like my manager, and I met him back then through other DJs he was managing, and he said, when you leave, one day we work together, and then one day we work together, and now we're together for, he says always less, but I think it's 7-8 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a really important relationship, so it's amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's a relationship. Of course, we became friends as well, but yeah, it started on as a work relation for sure. But now it's like this 50-50, even more, to be honest. More friend than work relation, which is sometimes, it's a good thing, because you can, even if you have like arguments, you have this little fight and then you're back to square one again, because you know each other quite well. And he understood from the beginning where I want to be, and we had like those goals and what we wanted to achieve. And this is really important, I think, when you have a manager that he understands what you as an artist wanted to grow to or became. So
yeah,
he can't make this, like, really, it's a work relation. Both have to work together to achieve certain things. Otherwise, it's like not that he can do some voodoo magic and you become like, wow.
So it's like your vision, and then you say, this is what I want to do, and he goes, right, I've got
and
that.
We have to go from A to B to C to D to go to Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's super important.
Yeah.
So does he work on Avotre with you, or?
Yes, he does. So basically we work on everything I'm related to together. So.
And how long have you been running the label?
It started like in 2013 was the first release.
And what was your impetus for starting the label?
I was working on another label, like on Tiefschwarz label, Souvenir, worked there a lot.
You were the sound engineer for that label?
Yeah, exactly, and worked with them really close. And I wanted to have like a platform, first of all, for myself, and where I can express my musical taste without any boundaries. So what I like, I'm going to release. So that was like the most, and of course for my friends who have been looking for a label as well. And yeah, it was quite a process too. And I got many names before Avotre, and then it stuck to me. So because other friend of mine, he said, yeah, call it like this. And it's like,
you just came up with it?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Avotre Santé means, like in French, to your health. It's like cheers, like the whole
cool.
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So Santé it's like health, but then you say like Santé in France is like cheers.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is where it came from.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't speak French.
No, my French is really bad. I was so bad in school.
And yet you have a French artist name.
Yeah, exactly. But which is good. Most of people don't know where it comes from. Most of them think there's Italian, Spanish, South American.
You have Mediterranean olive skin, so you also look a little bit.
This is just because of Portugal weather.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, is that south of Germany?
Yeah.
Germany, really?
I was like not seeing the sun for more than 10 years when I was living here and working in the studio. So it's just... Now the skin remembers.
Studio tan.
Exactly.
We live such funny lives living in rooms with no windows.
Yeah.
It's a weird world. Obviously, it's going from strength to strength, the label, and you've been running now 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And a little birdie told me that there's a new Australian branch opening of the label.
Yeah, that's right. So we with my touring partner, or let's say with my booking agent, we started an Australian department down in based in Melbourne, and yeah, I definitely like Australia a lot. I'm going there next week for 10 shows. So circa 18 is his booking agency down there.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, with him together, we want to build something more in Australia, going like next couple of years doing some festivals down there.
Having some stages?
Yeah, exactly. This is the plan, and it's like bringing like Australian artists to the label and feature the label and get like the name spread. This is why we opened like this Australian department down there.
Okay, and he's going to be running that side of things.
Yeah, he will
for
be
you.
in charge because he's living in Melbourne. He will be in charge of it. Like, and then I'm coming 2 times a year going to Australia.
Are you A&Ring everything?
Yes, everything.
Is it going to be the same for the Australia branch?
Will be the same. Creativity-wise, no, it's just like the office and strategy around it, but not in terms of music picking and releasing.
Do you accept demos if people are listening?
Of course, I'm listening to a lot of music every week.
And what advice do you have for someone listening that wants to submit to you?
Like I tell everyone, basically there are a lot of great demos there, but I wanted to be surprised. So a lot of the music right now sounds like really quality, but always like, no, surprisingly a little bit similar. So, and I don't want to release those tracks over and over and over again. So it needs to have something which I think it's worth to release. Yeah, so a little bit surprising and a little bit, especially now, yeah, like musicality, but still playable like on big or on a really nice sound system. So in small clubs or big venues. So yeah, this is what I'm looking for, like being surprised. And it's not about the genre, or of course I'm more into the houseier part, but if it's like a massive techno banger which surprised me, I release it.
In Berlin, people can be quite snobby sometimes about like tracks that have got vocals and melodies. Did you ever come across any resistance with your sound in the beginning?
I still do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially here, I think there's not so many people doing this kind of house music I'm doing, and especially not in Germany. So it's getting there, because really I see it also on the gigs that more really younger people are attending to this kind of sound yet. So, and yeah, it's a more positive and houseier kind of. It's not like that when you're like here in a big club, I don't want to mention it, it's dark and it's super nice to play hard techno, and it's like a different feeling. But if then you're going to some other clubs here, it's nicer to have like warmer and houseier and kind of groovier stuff there. So I think it's like a perspective thing, and I like it a little bit more groovy than straightforward. Was always my thing. I'm not that. I like techno, but I can't produce it. I don't know why. I always have to have a little bit of swing in it. It's like that. Even if I would make a techno tune, it would at the end sound more housey than techno. Yeah.
Well, you've got your sound.
Yeah.
But like with the track Awake,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that, for example, when I was saying about commercial radio, you know, that
Yeah,
for me is a song.
It's a song, exactly. Yeah, and I with Richard, I met him, also like 7 or 8 years ago when I played the first time in Brighton. And
My hometown.
yeah, your hometown. Okay, he's from Brighton. So I met him, and he said, whenever I want to do something with vocals, let's hook up. And I was like, yeah, I always wanted to. And then we said, okay, this is like why I like albums, because then you have the opportunity to do a little bit something more, a little bit different than like your average kind of EP sounds like, and you don't. And the album was like, for me, it was like a kind of musical expression. Like I used mostly instruments on everything, recorded a lot of live instruments, and also like a lot of vocalists. So it was perfect for me. It had never this approach being a club album or being like 100% only dance floor orientated. But yeah, and on this one I didn't do it. And yeah, and it turned out it was a really successful record, and was like synced to 2 HBO series, How I Get Away with Murder, and the other one was Elementary. So it was quite successful.
Ka-ching! No comment. Yeah, but that's wicked. Yeah, and that's the thing, exactly, when you use vocals or more melodies, and it is going toward syncs. Yeah, talking about syncing and film soundtracks, you've just written a score to a new movie that's coming out. We've got the Berlin premiere on the 5th of June.
Yeah, that's right.
How did this come about? It's called Finding Beauty. How far would you go for your art?
Yeah, this is a documentary of a director. I met him also like many years ago here in the studio I started. And he was working on this documentary the last 10 years. And it's about how Berlin and New York are affecting each other in terms of creativity. He was focusing on New York artists and Berlin artists, and vice versa, checked how New York back then influenced Berlin, and now how Berlin influenced New York right now, which is definitely happening. So it was a long project, and finally he came up, and then he hit me up again. I need the music, and I said, wow, I thought you forgot about it. And then I wrote many. There's also original music from other artists, but like most of the score I did, and I made a lot of stuff like that back then when I got a little bit more time, less touring. Yeah, I think I made seven movies and 400 commercials.
Wow.
Yeah.
With the movies, were they documentaries or?
No, they have been like on the German TV station ZDF. Yeah.
Cool.
It was kind of a crime thriller.
That was your niche.
No, but it was just a movie I did, so I'm not sure if it was the best work ever, but now I would definitely prefer to write action scores.
Is that something that you can see yourself later on down the line focusing on?
For sure, definitely.
If you don't want to tour anymore, and
no, it's definitely what I'm looking for, but it's not that easy to get in. It's like even more difficult than becoming an international touring DJ, because it's such a niche and so elite kind of league, and you have to live mostly in Hollywood. To aim big, of course, you can do like into European movies and stuff, like in German movies as well. Then you don't have to live in Hollywood. But like if you want to become an A-league composer of big Hollywood movies, you have to live there. There's no other way around.
So would you want to do B, C level films?
A level.
Only A level. Okay, I like it.
Aim big. Then, yeah, like I said, this is for right now. Portugal is perfect, but maybe Los Angeles is calling. I don't know. I spent like the whole February there, so.
How was that?
It was good. I made a lot of meetings, especially for that. And
wow, okay.
Yeah.
So this really is in process in the background.
It is already since 10 years in the process, but like I said, you have to commit hardcore to it. And then when you, it's like not really working when you're touring, and not after flying down to Chile or Buenos Aires and flying back to Los Angeles and back and forth and being on point on Monday. This is like, it's like a different world, and and deadlines are tight and everything, and there's a lot of money involved in it. So you definitely have to be there and be 100% focused and aware of it.
Well, you have to also be in the studio when you want
Exactly.
changes. Then
Exactly.
you need to be able to do it for the producer.
Or you have a lot of assistants, but even then you have to be in the studio.
And then be at the level already that you have assistants that are doing.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
I mean, I heard about Hans Zimmer and that he has all these composing assistants. And these assistants, they're not people that make coffee, they're people that actually compose music that will sometimes get used in the films.
Yes, they do get credit and get paid, but obviously not as the composer of the main score.
Yeah. And then they can work like that for 10 years.
Yeah,
in
and
this
then
role.
again, most of them who have been assisted with Hans are famous composers right now by themselves already. So it's like I said, kind of an entry thing, I guess. It's like I say, you have to start really, really low again.
Yeah.
And be patient and put like a lot of effort and work in to go big then.
But you're dreaming at the A films, and why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, and sometimes the good thing about it, like, this is why I want to push like even my artist career a little bit more and longer and heavier, because then you can use your name and your brand already and start not as low. You can maybe start a little bit, let's say maybe on C or maybe already on B. To jump in or work with somebody. This is what happened with, for example, Junkie XL, Tom Holkenberg. He's becoming one of the biggest composers right now in Hollywood. And he started like that. He worked on a remix for Hans Zimmer as Junkie XL. So this is how they connected. And he didn't start very, very low. Maybe he did, but obviously not what I know.
And your wife, could she just move?
Yeah, she's a painter.
Cool.
Yeah, we've been lucky that we're not linked to a
location
9-to-5 day job.
That's great. So you can explore that and then see what happens in America. And how do you find the culture in America? For anyone listening that hasn't been to Germany, how would you describe the differences?
As a European, you have so many rights and so much freedom, even like, especially like, look to Berlin, you can really express yourself in every kind of art or way, or it's a super liberal city, and like I think Europe in general is super liberal, and I think this is the biggest advantage that you have a lot of freedom, things which you would not be able to do in America, because either it's not allowed, or B, it's too expensive to get there.
That's true. And then on the other side, so you've got this freedom, but the culture of just people generally, I mean, it's just a very different atmosphere, isn't it? You know, like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah,
what
exactly.
What are you up to? Berliners, anyway, are much more like,
yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah, exactly. What do you want?
What are you looking at?
Yeah. And it takes definitely longer to get in a nice small talk or conversation, but if you have like real friends here, they stick with you forever. And I guess you can make friends within a day, in especially in Los Angeles. Yeah. But I'm not sure if those are real friends then, and they will help you out.
So for you as a German and as someone that's lived in Berlin for a long time, when you're in these meetings and you're in that atmosphere, how do you deal with that? Can you sniff out when you think someone's being sincere?
Sometimes I'm the rude German. That's how they call me, the rude
Really?
German. Yeah, because I'm just being honest in myself, and sometimes I'm too honest. You know, too
direct.
Yeah. So, which I say, I don't like this or that, and then it's like, why did you say this?
So, your contacts say that.
So, why did you say it? So I was like, because it's true, man. We are like this. Yeah. So I guess it can be an advantage, but you have to sneak around those mentalities and attitudes a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you also get used to it as long as you live there. A friend of us, he's living there for 12 years now, and he adapted quite well, I have to say so.
He's German too?
He's Austrian.
Okay.
But they're similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other hand, when you're working on a project with Germans, like the directness is really helpful, because you just have to learn to wear a bit of cotton wool around your ego, but it makes things go quickly because people say, no, I don't like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, okay.
I think this is like why some people call it German efficiency or somehow, but you get it like even in kindergarten you get drilled like this somehow, and then you have school and duck. There's no way around. You have to go like poop, 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 poop.
Beatport podcast. Coming up, you've got your Australia tour.
Yeah.
You're playing in New Zealand and Ibiza.
Yeah, I'm playing for Amnesia.
Oh yeah.
This year I'm playing not for Elro in Ibiza. I'm playing, but still for Amnesia, and I play for them in a couple of weeks again in South America, and I'm going to a large South America tour. So the summer is looking pretty busy, and it's nice. So a lot of international tours coming up.
Do you have a lot of fans in South America?
Yes. I really like playing in South America. I could go there every week, to be honest, but then I should live there somehow because flying is hardcore.
Yeah. What is it about them?
I would say it's about the passion. It's really nice. They're totally into the music, into the groove, and I think this is the Latino thing. They like it a little bit more rhythmic, so this is why the music sticks so good there. And yeah, it's perfect. I love it.
I read that you love to go to art exhibitions to like art creates art and to get inspiration for your music. What was the last exhibition you went to, and what was it about it that inspired you to make music? Yeah,
I was in Lisbon a couple of weeks ago, and I love it. It's of course, due to my partner, she has like, you get similar interests, and it's very nice to see like how similar something in an art scene works, like from being a musician to being a painter, and then you have like gallerists who are doing this and that. It's like a really interesting job and genre, and I really like seeing different creative outlets. So I like, obviously I love paintings, but for me, my personal thing, I love installations a lot. Like coming up with ideas which you would never think of. It's like, I really like it. It's an amazing thing. Yeah, and there was like a sound installation which was combined with smoke or ice or what it was. I don't know how they worked it out, and it was really interesting to see.
Do you take the images into your mind, and do you see images when you write?
It's not immediately, not instantly but then you think about stuff, and sometimes you read like this kind of nice, what is it called? Like when you have, you see a picture, and you have your impression about it, and then you read like the thing to it, like what the artist thought about it, and it's completely sometimes not matching, and then you start thinking, and it starts a really creative process in you. And I think it's not like that there's an immediate outlet to it in terms of making music directly, but I think it's like reading or having in general thinking about stuff really creates creativity and keeps store some creativity or creative sparks in your mind, and then you sitting in a studio and for some reason it pops up again, and then you go like, oh, and then this is how it works for me, and this is why I like going to museums and going to exhibitions, and it's a really, really nice way to spend your time. I love it.
Healthy, positive hobby.
It is.
Do you always try and go in the cities when you have time?
Yes, I've been in many museums all over the world now.
Wow, that's really cool. And then if you're traveling alone mostly.
Yeah,
right?
mostly.
That's a really awesome way of experiencing the cities. I mean, a lot of the DJs say that they'll go and eat food.
Yeah, sometimes I really don't leave the hotel room. Obviously, it really depends on the night before or how long you have time. But if you have like a layover of a couple of days, I definitely do it. Yeah, I've been in many museums all over the world, like also in South America and a lot.
What are your top 3?
MoMA, Tate, LACMA in LA is also nice, but I forgot about the name in Buenos Aires. But there's also a really nice museum of contemporary modern art in Buenos Aires, and even the building is very nice. But I've really forgot about the name.
Okay, cool. Well,
yeah.
If anyone's listening, wanting to plan an art trip, now you've got top tips.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
this has been fascinating and very inspiring. So make sure that you buy the album. It's current too. And thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me here.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Beatport podcast.